That'll help. Thank you very much for coming out this evening. Adam, thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Yes, as Adam said, I'm going to just give a very quick 10-minute run-through of Ethereum, kind of community, and a few assurance use cases and a case study as well. So, just to start, as always, it's always good to start with what is the blockchain? Well, it's a distributed network, a distributed database, implemented as a global, immutable, shared ledger. Access control is done through digital signatures, and it's open to all. And what this means is that essentially anyone can take part in the blockchain. The only things you need is a computer and the internet connection. You don't need an email address, you don't need anything else. By default, to interact with the blockchain is free. It's only when you're changing the state that it actually costs some value to interact with it in that way. And another important definition of a public blockchain is that the current and all previous states of the network are viewable at all times by anyone. So a great well-known example of blockchain technology implemented is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is digital, uncontrollable currency. There is no central bank involved, there's no central authority. It's the math of the system which dictates how it continues to act. It was invented in sort of 2008, 2009 by probably a group of people called Satoshi Nakamoto. And it was incredible. It solved a lot of really hard problems in crypto that haven't been solved before, and it still is a great success. The issue is, though it works pretty well for monetary addition, it is difficult or impossible even to implement database applications that go beyond simple monetary addition. It can only really be used as a global ledger. And this is kind of an interesting thing because a lot of people have picked up the term distributed ledger technology and all this kind of stuff, but I think we're moving on now to understand that you can actually do a whole lot more with blockchain technology than just use it as a ledger. So enter Ethereum, the world computer. We chose the term world computer for Ethereum because if you can imagine the blockchain, whatever it might look like, inside of that blockchain is a tiny little computer itself. A virtual machine called the EVM, or the Ethereum virtual machine. And what this does is it allows you to run business logic, to run code on top of the blockchain itself. And that means that just with Bitcoin you get all of the wonderful benefits of transparency, and it's DDoS proof, it's censorship proof, it's easy to trace things. You get that with Ethereum too, but you can have a greater amount of logic and a greater amount of complexity in the operations that you're trying to carry out. This is why smart contracts, which are what these little pieces of code are called, are very interesting, even though the terminology might not be quite appropriate. So Ethereum itself was proposed originally by Vitalik Buterin at the end of 2013. Around about December, he released a white paper that was immediately incredibly well received by the community. People were very interested to join his cause and start building initial proof of concepts and getting the technology out there. The Ethereum Foundation itself is a community-driven research and development project. We are a non-profit organization. Everything we do is open source, everything we do is free, and anyone can use it. The core remits of the foundation focus on development. So Vitalik often says if code is not being developed anymore, it's probably dead. So we're continuing to develop and build out Ethereum. We're also very focused on research because we understand that there are a lot of hard problems in this space. We still need to solve scalability. We still need to solve privacy on public blockchains. But we're pretty certain that we have answers to those questions, and we're working towards implementing them. Back in the summer of 2014, we raised 18.4 million US dollars in a pre-sale, which enabled us to continue building out Ethereum through to sort of version 1, which was released on July 31st, 2015. And that was called the Frontier. The website had a big, the word safe crossed out because it was still beta, it could be buggy. We didn't want people to lose any value or money or anything. But then just recently in March we released Homestead, which is the stable release of Ethereum. We're pretty certain at this point that it's very secure. And then the next release, which is coming towards the end of summer, I guess, is Metropolis. And the goal of Metropolis is to make Ethereum easier to use for non-technical individuals. I'm sure some of you today have been hearing about the DAO and all these really cool things that people are building on top of Ethereum, but it doesn't really mean anything if you can't interact with it. So we want to make it easy for anyone to be able to take value from this system. So yeah, obviously I'm here to present about insurance. I should probably get to that. It is huge business, as Donald Trump would say. $1.04 trillion annually just in the USA. That's incredible. That is a huge amount of money. But you know, it tends to operate with a very large overhead. There's a lot of work that needs to go into providing insurance policies, to covering people, to paying out on the premiums, all this kind of stuff. A lot of human capital. Access to cheap insurance policies is also not available to everyone. We're very lucky in the UK to be able to compare the meerkat, whereas in other places around the world, they often have these insurance monopolies, which mean that people are subjected to incredibly expensive policies and they don't have a chance to enter into a market. We have the market, and as a consequence, prices are driven down. As well, we still rely a lot on trusted parties to verify our claims and to manage the moving over of money in terms of dealing with a claim and all that kind of stuff. So we must ask ourselves, is there another way? That's not to say there's anything wrong with this model, but it's more of a case of, can we improve it? Can we have new value? So this is a little case study. It's not built on Ethereum or anything. I just thought it was really interesting. It's P2P or crowdfunded insurance as a model called Friendsurance, and they're based out in Germany. And the premise of Friendsurance is that instead of grouping everyone who has, when you do your insurance, you'll have with your car, and it has like a letter which is associated with that car, and that's your policy. With this, instead of grouping everyone into the same pool, into the same group, it's smaller groups. So there is an opportunity for owners, there's an opportunity, pardon me, there's an opportunity for a percentage of the premiums paid to be paid back into a cashback pool. So a small amount of what you're paying goes into this cashback pool. Now, if there are no claims submitted, the members of the group get some of their money back at the end of the year, which is great, so you save money. And if there is some small claims within the group, then obviously that bites into the pool money itself, lowering it for everyone. And if there's a large claim, then it's settled by the company itself. But what this means is that you never pay more than you would with any other insurance company, but there's a significant chance that you'll actually pay less. And as a consumer, that's incredibly attractive. And Ethereum as a platform makes it very easy to build these kind of systems. So let's talk a little bit about insurance on Ethereum. Insurance policies apparently are pretty much if-then statements. And that means that it's really simple to transfer that logic into code, into computer code itself. Smart contracts can allow for automation of always, as we spoke about before, cost-intensive overheads, the human capital, the additional work. And I think there is a real opportunity for smart contracts to not necessarily disintermediate, but lower the costs in some elements from there. A really interesting thing, and this is kind of like a bit out there, is the idea that insurance companies in a few years' time won't look anything like they do today. Instead, there'll be market platforms. And what they'll do is they'll provide an opportunity for investors to fund in a decentralized manner, in a P2P manner, other people's insurance policies. So you could have maybe me who wants to insure, I haven't got a car, but if I had a car, I wish I had a Ferrari, insure my Ferrari for £100,000 a year or whatever. A bunch of investors could bid lower and lower and lower and lower till I accept the lowest bid. And insurance companies could grow to become those platforms themselves. The creation of a market can bring costs down for everyone. And also because you have the immutability and the trustlessness of smart contracts, you can have faith in the math and for it to complete based on the right stimuli from outside the blockchain. You can guarantee the payment from the investor to the customer, which is incredibly important. And you can do it very quickly as well. Blockchain doesn't understand T5, T6. Everything is T0. And of course, I wouldn't be here if there wasn't already a large amount of interest in Ethereum specifically for blockchain and sort of insurance, kind of looking and exploring use cases. So I guess a lot of you here will know John Hancock, massive company, and they're working with Consensus over in New York to explore some of the use cases and to sort of see what kind of value they can create with this technology. So that's kind of the extent of my knowledge about insurance, unfortunately. I also wanted to come here today to talk a bit about the Ethereum community and hopefully infuse some of you to join it and see if you can build something new and incredible. So here we have dapps.ethercast.com, and it's a dApp list, if you will, dApps being decentralized applications built on top of Ethereum. It's amazing. If you're in fact, how many developers are in here? If you put your hands up if you're a developer. Oh, great, nice, quite a few. So yeah, if you're interested in thinking about something to build on Ethereum, then why not check this out? It's got everything from Grid Singularity, which is trying to provide accurate information for the refinancing of Eastern European power stations, to Arcade City, which is a decentralized Uber, to the Stud Book, which is Tinder for horses. So let's just go straight to this one. Ethereum is growing really fast. We're getting more and more and more people joining the network, taking part, building interesting things. This is a tweet I made the other day. In January of this year, Ethereum had 1,350 full nodes on the network. 5 months later, there's 7,083. And I did this tweet a few days ago. I looked again today. There were 7,500 nodes on the network, which is incredible growth, and I hope we can sort of see that continue. And as I was saying, one of the best things about Ethereum is the community itself. A lot of people in here are part of the Ethereum community. They're effervescent, they're intelligent, and they're creative, and they're building amazing things. We have 48,000 people around the world attending Ethereum meetups, with over 286 meetups around the world. So we have a really great base of people who are doing wonderful things. So yes, please do join the Ethereum community. As I said, meetups are a great place to learn and figure out a bit about Ethereum. We're also very prolific on social media. The Reddit has around 13,000 subscribers, but over 1 million page views per month. So it has a high amount of traffic. For the developers out there as well, we have our own Stack Exchange page. For me, that really lends a lot of credence to the technology, because not just any sort of program or people who are building some sort of platform get a Stack Exchange page. So that really shows that there's a lot of developers who are very keen to learn more about this. And finally, just a quick plug, hackathons. A lot of developers really enjoy hackathons. I think there might be some guys from Thomson Reuters in here. I'm aiming to organize a 100-person hackathon with Thomson Reuters in Canary Wharf on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of July. So we haven't got a website out for that yet, but we should have more information coming out soon. And I would love to see some of you guys there. I think it would be a really, really special event. Finally, just a quick overview again for the developers in here over some of the developer tools we have available. Remix is our own web-based IDE. It's a wonderful platform for putting your dApps, your smart contracts onto the blockchain, and just generally doing debugging and stuff. Similar with the development frameworks like Truffle, which is built by Consensus, Embark, built by a lovely guy called Yuri Mathias. Block explorers are really important for Ethereum. Obviously with Bitcoin, when you look at a block explorer, you're seeing the transactions that are going on the network, and that's kind of the only information that's available. With Ethereum, because you have the smart contracts, there's a lot more going on, and you need really powerful analysis technology to be able to fully dive in and understand what's going on with those smart contracts. And EtherCamp's probably the best at that so far, run by Roman Mandalil, but EtherChain is also a really great one. Tutorials in education. Ethereum.org has some great tutorials. There's 3 of them up there at the moment. I don't know if anyone's heard of the DAO, but you can build your own DAO. It's actually not very difficult. I'm not sure what smart contract I have on my back, but they're generally only a few lines of code. So give it a go, and maybe you can raise 150 million as well. B9 Lab is also making some really great movements in the space. They're building an excellent online sort of course setting, and they also do kind of bespoke events teaching people how to build or use Ethereum. And finally, Eris Industries, they have some really great tutorials for Ethereum as well. Last thing, I spoke earlier on about Metropolis and trying to make it easy for anyone to interact with the Ethereum platform. This is missed, and that's the sort of the culmination of our intentions in that respect. We need to create a safe, secure space where my mum can check out her insurance policy, be it, and not get hacked, not lose some money, just generally have a good experience, which unfortunately at the moment is quite hard with crypto. We've still got a lot of work to do. There's no denying that, but we're getting there, and we hope to have something really, really special with Mist when Mist comes out in the next few months. But yeah, so that's my quick presentation. Thank you ever so much for listening, and yeah, have a wonderful evening.